How are you guys doing? Today is Monday, July 26th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Sunday, July 25th. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. At this moment in time, I'm going to start with the MLB, and in Baltimore, the Baltimore Orioles hosted the 2019 World Series champs, Washington Nationals. And in this matchup, the Orioles would beat the Nationals in the bottom of the ninth, thanks to a run scored by Ryan McKenna off of a fielder's choice after Pat Valaika tied it up with a sacrifice fly. For the Washington Nationals in this matchup, the start was given to Paolo Espino. Espino allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss would go to the Nats closer, Brad Hand. Hand would allow 2 earned runs in .1 inning pitched, and this would be his 4th blown save of the season. With this loss, he's 5-4. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Alcides Escobar, would end up going 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their all-star shortstop, Trey Turner, would go 2 for 5 with a run. Their first baseman, Josh Bell, will go 2 for 5, as those are the 3 players that had more than 1 hit for the Nats. And for the Baltimore Orioles, the start went to John Means. He allowed 4 earned runs in 6.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The win for Baltimore would go to their closer, Cole Sulser. Sulser allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitched, and with this win, he's 3-1 on the season. In their batting lineup, their all-star center fielder, Cedric Mullins, would go 2 for 4. Their designated hitter, Trey Mancini, would go 2 for 4 with a run. And then their left fielder, Ryan McKenna, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He would hit his first home run of the season, and with this win, the Baltimore Orioles are now 34-64. That is the worst record in the American League East. That is also the worst record in the American League. They've won their last 3 games. They've won 6 of their last 10, and they now trail the Boston Red Sox by 26 games in the division, to give a sense of what the gap in the American League is. And with this loss, the Washington Nationals are now 45-53. That is the 4th best record in the National League East. They've lost their last 4 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 8 games in the division. Jumping out to Philadelphia, the Phillies hosted the Atlanta Braves, and the Phillies would pull off a 2-1 win at home as they were able to score a run in the 4th and 8th inning to keep themselves at arm's length from the former National League East champs. For the Atlanta Braves, the start and the loss went to Touki Toussaint. He allowed 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched, striking out 10. With this loss, he's 1-1 on the season, and in their batting lineup, their third baseman, Austin Riley, was the only player with more than 1 hit. He went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run, as he hit his 17th and 18th doubles of the season, along with hitting his 17th home run of the season. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the start and the win went to Aaron Nola. He allowed 1 earned run in 8.2 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With this win, he's 7-6 on the year. The save would go to the Phillies' only other pitcher of the day, Ranger Suarez, who picked up the last out. Suarez allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. This would be save number 4 for him. In the Phillies batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Ronald Torreyes. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 4th home run of the season. With this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 49-49. That is the 2nd best record in the National League East. They've won 5 of their last 10, and they now trail the New York Mets by 4 games in the division. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are now 48-50. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the New York Mets by 5 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds hosted the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals were able to pull up a 10-6 win on the road after scoring 7 of their 10 in the 4th inning. For the Cincinnati Reds, the start and the loss went to Sonny Gray. He allowed 8 earned runs in 3.1 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, he's 2-6 on the season. In the Reds batting lineup, their left fielder, Jesse Winker, would go 2 for 4 with a run. Their catcher, Tyler Stevenson, would go 3 for 3 with an RBI and a run. And then those would be the only 2 players on the team with more than 1 hit. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the start went to Johan Oviedo. He allowed 3 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched, striking out 6. The win for the Cardinals went to their first relief pitcher, Ryan Helsley. Helsley allowed no earned runs in .2 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's 5-4 on the season. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Nolan Arenado, would end up going 3 for 5 with an RBI and 3 runs. Arenado would end up hitting his 20th home run as he was a double away from the cycle. Their left fielder, Tyler O'Neill, will go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as O'Neill hit his 17th home run of the season. Then their center fielder, Harrison Bader, will go 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. He would hit his 8th home run of the season. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 50-50. That is the third best record in the National League Central as they've won 6 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 8 games in the division. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are now 51-48. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 6.5 games in the division. And at the moment, they trail the San Diego Padres for the second National League wildcard spot by 5.5 games, as the Cincinnati Reds are still the first team on the outside looking in. Jumping out to Cleveland in their final season, named as the Indians. The Indians would host the Rays and pull off a 3-2 win after scoring 2 runs in the 8th inning. Harold Ramirez would tie it up on an RBI single, and then following him, Bobby Bradley's sacrifice fly would give the Indians the lead that they needed to win. For the defending American League champs, Tampa Bay Rays, the start was given to Ryan Yarbrough. Yarbrough would allow 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss would go to the Rays' first relief pitcher, Matt Wisler, as Wisler allowed 2 earned runs in .1 inning pitched. This would be his third blown save of the season, and with this loss, he's 3-4. In the Rays' batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, but their elite designated hitter, Nelson Cruz, would go 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Cruz hit his 21st home run of the season. For the Cleveland Indians, the start went to Tristan McKenzie as McKenzie allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The win went to the Indians' second relief pitcher on the season, James Karinchak. Karinchak allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched, and with this win, he's 7-2 on the season. The save went to Emmanuel Clase. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. This would be Clase's 12th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Cesar Hernandez, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 17th home run of the season. And their shortstop, Ahmed Rosario, will go 2 for 3 with a run. With this win, the Cleveland Indians are now 49-48. That is the second best record in the American League Central. They've won 4 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 9 games in the division, and at the moment, they currently trail the Oakland Athletics for the second American League wildcard spot by 5 games. Jumping out to the Tampa Bay Rays with this loss, they are now 60-40. That is the second best record in the American League East. They've only lost 3 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Boston Red Sox by 1 game in the division. They are currently holding on to the top American League wildcard spot as they sit 4.5 games ahead of the second place Oakland Athletics. Jumping out to New York, the New York Mets hosted the Toronto Blue Jays, who are now their newest in-state rival. And in this matchup, the Mets would beat the Blue Jays 5-4 after scoring 4 runs in the 6th inning. 2 of those runs would come from a Pete Alonso home run, and 2 of them came from a Jeff McNeil double in the 4th. For the Toronto Blue Jays in this matchup, the start went to Ross Stripling. He allowed 1 earned run in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss would go to the Blue Jays' second relief pitcher, Jacob Barnes. Barnes allowed 2 earned runs without registering an out, and with this loss, he's 1-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their all-star second baseman, Marcus Semien, would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their all-star shortstop, Bo Bichette, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and the only other player on the team with more than 1 hit was the Blue Jays catcher, Alejandro Kirk, as he went 2 for 4. For the New York Mets, however, the start went to Rich Hill. Rich Hill would allow 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. The win went to the Mets' first relief pitcher, Seth Lugo. Lugo would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. He would pick up his second blown save of the season, but with this win, he's 3-1. The save went to Edwin Diaz. He would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 3. Diaz picked up his 21st save of the season. In the Mets' batting lineup, their third baseman, J.D. Davis, Davis would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their elite first baseman, Pete Alonso, would go 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 22nd home run of the season. And then their shortstop for the day, Jonathan Villar, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the New York Mets are now 52-44. That is still the best record in the National League East as they've won 5 of their last 10 games. They sit 4 games ahead of the second place Philadelphia Phillies at the moment. And with this loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 49-46. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Boston Red Sox by 9.5 games in the American League East. And they currently trail the Oakland Athletics by 4 games for the second wild card spot at the moment. Jumping out to Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the San Diego Padres, and the Marlins would pick up the home win here. They would win this game 9-3 after scoring all 9 of their runs between the 3rd and 6th inning. For the San Diego Padres in this matchup, the start and the loss went to their elite starting pitcher, Yu Darvish. He allowed 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, he's 7-5 on the season. In the Padres batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Manny Machado, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 17th home run of the season. He was the only player on the Padres with more than 1 hit. For the Miami Marlins, however, the start was given to John Curtis. John Curtis would only pitch 1 inning as he allowed no earned runs and struck out 2. The win would go to the Miami Marlins' 3rd relief pitcher on the day, who in this particular matchup just happened to be Anthony Bender. Bender allowed 1 earned run in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 3, and with this win, he's 2-1 on the year. In the Marlins batting lineup, their center fielder, Starling Marte, would go 3 for 4 with an RBI. The only other player on the team with more than 1 hit was the Miami Marlins shortstop for the day, Devin Marrero. Devin Marrero would go 3 for 4 with an RBI and 3 runs as he hit his first home run of the season. With this win, the Miami Marlins are now 43-57. That is the worst record in the National League East, and that is currently the 3rd worst record in the National League. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 4 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 11 games in the division. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 58-44. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They have now lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 5.5 games in the division, and they currently hold the 2nd National League wildcard spot, sitting 3.5 games behind the first place Los Angeles Dodgers, and they sit 5.5 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds, who are the first team on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. Jumping out to Boston, the Red Sox took on their division rivals, their longtime rivals, the New York Yankees. And after the Yankees took a 4-0 lead going into the bottom of the 8th, the Red Sox would end up scoring 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th to take home their 61st win of the season. For the New York Yankees, the start went to Domingo Germán. He allowed 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 10. The loss for New York would end up going to their first relief pitcher, Jonathan Loaisiga. He would allow 4 earned runs without registering an out, and with this loss, he's 7-4 on the season, and it would be under him that they would actually that the Red Sox tied the game. For the Yankees in their batting lineup, their second baseman, Rougned Odor, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 12th home run of the season. Their elite shortstop, Gleyber Torres, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And for the Boston Red Sox in this matchup, the start was given to Martin Perez. Perez would allow 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The win for Boston went to their 3rd relief pitcher on the day, Brandon Workman. He allowed 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched, and with this win, he's 1-2 on the season. The save would end up going to the Boston Red Sox closer, Matt Barnes. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he picked up save number 21 on the season. Nobody on the Red Sox would finish with more than 1 hit. But of course, a lot of RBIs going around is all the players that, as Verdugo, Renfroe, Vasquez, Cordero, and Kike Hernandez, these 6th through 1st batters were able to get a run in order to get the Red Sox win number 61 on the season. With this win, the Red Sox are now 61-39. That is the best record in the American League East, and they are tied with the Houston Astros for the best record in the American League as they've won 6 of their last 10 games. They sit a game ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays in the division, and they are tied with the Houston Astros, holding on to the number 1 seed in the American League. With this loss, the New York Yankees are now 51-47. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Boston Red Sox Sox by 9 games in the division, and they are currently trailing the Oakland Athletics by 3.5 games in the wild card race, as the only team standing between them and the A's are the Seattle Mariners. Jumping out to Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals hosted the Detroit Tigers and were able to pull up a 6-1 win at home, scoring 4 of their 6 runs in the first inning. For the Detroit Tigers in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Tariq Skubal. He allowed 5 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, striking out 4. With this loss, he's 6-9 on the season. Nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, as a lot of that could be attributed to great pitching from Kansas City. For the Kansas City Royals, the start and the win was given to Daniel Lynch. Lynch allowed no earned runs and only 5 hits in 8 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this win, Daniel Lynch is 1-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, the Royals right fielder Jorge Soler would end up going 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his 10th and 11th home runs of the season, and then he would be the only, as Soler was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. The Royals' elite designated hitter Salvador Perez would go 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 23rd home run of the season. With this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 42-55. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 5 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 16 games in the division at the moment. And with this loss, the Detroit Tigers are now 47-54. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central, as they've lost their last 3 games, and they've only lost 3 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 13 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Houston, the Houston Astros took on their in-state rival, the Texas Rangers. And in this matchup, the Astros would beat the Rangers 3-1, scoring all 3 of their runs in the 5th and 6th innings. For the Texas Rangers, the start was given to Taylor Hearn. Hearn would allow no earned runs in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The loss would go to the Rangers' second relief pitcher on the day, Dennis Santana. He allowed 1 earned run in .2 innings pitched. He would pick up his first blown save of the season, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, David Dahl, would end up going 2 for 4 on the day. And then for the Houston Astros, the start and the win was given to former American League Cy Young winner, Zach Greinke. He allowed 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this win, Zach Greinke is 10-3 on the season. Save number 18 will go to Ryan Presley, as he allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched and struck out 1. In the Astros batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. The only home run for the team went to the Astros first baseman, Abraham Toro. He would go 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run, as this home run was his 5th of the season. With this win, the Houston Astros are now 61-39. That is the best record in the American League West, as they've won their last 3 games and 7 of their last 10. They now sit 5.5 games ahead of the second-place Oakland Athletics in the division, and they are currently tied with the Red Sox for the best record in the American League, and they're also tied for the number 1 seed in the entire American League. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 35-65. That is the worst record in the American League West. They now have an MLB worst 12-game losing streak, as they now trail the Houston Astros by 26 games in the division. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Los Angeles Angels. The Angels were able to come into town and pick up a 6-2 win, as 3 of their 6 came in the 9th inning. The Twins were leading this game up until the 5th inning. For the Twins in this matchup, the start went to Bailey Ober. He allowed 2 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The loss would go to the Twins' first relief pitcher of the day, Danny Colomb. Colomb would allow 1 earned run in 1.2 innings pitched, striking out 1. With this loss, he's 1-1 on the season. In the Twins batting lineup, their right fielder Max Kepler would be the only player with more than 1 hit, as he went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Max Kepler would hit his 13th home run of the season from Minnesota. For the Los Angeles Angels, the start and the win, number 1 win of the season, would go to Jaime Barria. Barria would allow 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 4. He is now 1-0 on the season. In the Angels batting lineup, their all-star designated hitter, Shohei Ohtani, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 35th home run of the season yesterday, and the only other player on the team with more than 1 hit was their catcher, Max Stassi. He would go 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 8th home run of the season. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are now 49-49. That is the 4th best record in the division. They've won their last 2 games and 5 of their last 10. They now trail the Houston Astros by 11 games in the American League West. With this loss, the Minnesota Twins are now 42-58. That is the worst record in the American League Central. That is the third worst record in the American League at the moment. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Chicago White Sox by 17.5 games in the division. Speaking of Chicago, jumping out to Wrigley, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Cubs were able to beat the Diamondbacks 5-1. To make sure that the Diamondbacks were the first team in the MLB to 70 losses. For the Diamondbacks in this loss, the start in the loss was given to Caleb Smith. Caleb Smith would allow 5 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this loss, he's 3-7 on the season. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Pavin Smith, would end up going 2 for 5 on the day. He would be the only player on the Diamondbacks with more than 1 hit. For the Chicago Cubs, the start and the win was given to Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams would allow no earned runs in 6.1 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, he's 4-2 on the year, and save number 23 went to their elite closer, Craig Kimbrell. He allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitched, as with this save, he now is 23 on the year. In the Cubs batting lineup, their first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He would hit his 12th home run of the season. In the Cubs batting lineup, or with this win, the Cubs are now 49-51. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They've won 5 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 9 games in the division at the moment. And with this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 31-70. That is the worst record in the National League West, the worst record in the National League, and the worst record in all of baseball, as they barely won 30% of their games. They've lost 5 of their last 10, and they now trail the San Francisco Giants by 32 games in the division. Jumping out to San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Giants were able to pull off a 6-1 win to continue to hold on to the best record in the MLB. 3 of their 6 runs would come in the 6th inning, as the Pirates actually scored the first run of the game. For the Pirates, the start and the loss went to JT Brubaker. He allowed 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched, striking out 6. With this loss, JT Brubaker is 4-10 on the year. In their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their center fielder, Brian Reynolds, as he went 2 for 4 with a run. For the San Francisco Giants, the start and the win went to Alex Wood. He allowed 1 earned run in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, he's 9-3 on the season. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, Lamonte Wade Jr. would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 11th and 12th home runs of the season. The only other player on the Giants with more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Thairo Estrada. He would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs, as Estrada would hit his 3rd home run of the season. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 62-37. That is the best record in the National League West, as they've won 5 of their last 10 games. They sit 2 games ahead of the defending World Series champs LA Dodgers, as they are currently holding on to the top seed in the National League, as they are currently holding on to the best record in all of baseball at the moment, win percentage wise. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 38-61. That is the worst record in the National League Central and the 2nd worst record in the National League. They've lost 5 of their last 10, and they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 19.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Los Angeles, in Dodger Stadium, the defending World Series champs hosted the Colorado Rockies, the hosts of the 2021 All-Star Game. After the Rockies would get a 2-1 lead in the 2nd inning, the Dodgers would end up tying the game at 2 in the 5th thanks to a Chris Taylor home run, and they would take the lead in the bottom of the 8th thanks to a Will Smith solo home run. For the Colorado Rockies in this matchup, the start was given to John Gray. He allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The loss for Colorado will go to their last pitcher, Carlos Estevez. He would allow 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched, and with this loss, he's 2-2 on the season. In the Rockies batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their second baseman, Brendan Rodgers, who went 2 for 4. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, on the other hand, the start was given to their starting pitcher for the day, Josiah Gray. Josiah Gray would allow 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The win was given to the Dodgers' 3rd relief pitcher on the day, Phil Bickford. Bickford allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched, and with this win, he's 1-1 on the season. The save would end up going to their closer on the day, Joe Kelly. Kelly allowed no earned runs in one inning pitch as he struck out a batter. This would be save number 1 on the season for him. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their all-star shortstop, Chris Taylor, would go 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 15th and 16th home runs of the season. The only other player on the Dodgers with more than 1 hit was their center fielder, A.J. Pollock, as he went 2 for 4. With this win, the defending champs are now 61-40. That is the second best record in the National League West. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 5 of their last 10, but they still trail the San Francisco Giants by 2 games in the division. They are currently holding on to the top National League wildcard spot as they sit 3.5 games ahead of the second place San Diego Padres. With this loss, the Colorado Rockies are now 43-56. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 19 games in the division. Jumping out to Seattle, the Seattle Mariners hosted the Oakland Athletics, and the Mariners were able to beat the Athletics 4-3 at home. They scored all 4 of their runs in the 3rd inning as they were able to, of course, take over the 2-0 lead within that inning, and they were able to run away with that lead for the remainder of the game. For the Oakland Athletics, the start and the loss was given to Cole Irvin. Cole Irvin would allow 4 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Irvin is 7-9 on the season. In their batting lineup, the only player on the A's with more than 1 hit was their first baseman, Matt Olson. He went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 27th home run of the season. For the Seattle Mariners, the start and the win went to Marco Gonzalez. He allowed 2 earned runs in 5.2 innings pitched, striking out 4. With this win, he's 3-5 on the season as the save was given to the Mariners closer, Drew Steckenrider. Steckenrider allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he picked up his 3rd save of the year. In their batting lineup, their catcher Todd Murphy would go 2 for 3 with an RBI. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are now 54-46. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They've won their last 3 games and they've won 6 of their last 10. They currently trail the Houston Astros by 7 games in the division as they sit 1.5 games behind the Oakland Athletics for the 2nd American League wildcard spot. They are the first team on the outside looking in that regard. Jumping out to the A's with this loss, they are now 56-45. That is the 2nd best record in the American League West as they've lost their last 3 games and 5 of their last 10. They now trail the Houston Astros by 5.5 games in the division, and they are holding on to the 2nd American League wildcard spot, 4.5 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays and 1.5 games ahead of the Seattle Mariners. Last but not least, jumping out to Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Brewers hosted the Chicago White Sox, and the White Sox, the AL Central, the team at the top of the American League Central, were able to beat the National League Central leaders 3-1, as all 3 of their runs came in the 2nd inning. One of them came from Sebi Zavala's RBI single, and 2 of them came from Lance Lynn's 2 RBI single. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start and the loss was given to their all-star starting pitcher, Brandon Woodruff. He allowed 3 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With this loss, Brandon Woodruff is 7-5 on the season. In the Brewers batting lineup, their right fielder Tyrone Taylor would end up going 2 for 4 with a run, and their center fielder Jackie Bradley Jr. would go 2 for 4. For the Chicago White Sox, the start and the win went to Lance Lynn as he allowed 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched, striking out 6. He also went 1 for 2 as a batter with 2 of the White Sox 3 RBIs on the day. With this win, Lance Lynn is 10-3 on the season, and the save would go to the White Sox elite closer Liam Hendriks. He allowed no earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. Like I said, save number 24 on the season. And in the White Sox batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their catcher Zavala would go 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run on the day. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are now 59-40. That is still the best record in the American League Central. They've won 5 of their last 10 games as they sit 9 games ahead of the second team in their division, the Cleveland Indians. With this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 58-42. That is still the best record in the National League Central. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games as they still sit 6.5 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds in the division. The White Sox are currently holding on to the 3 seed in the American League as the Brewers are holding on on to the number 2 seed in the National League. That is what the MLB is looking like following yesterday's matchups. As we lead into Monday, Monday's not necessarily a travel game, but since they just got done traveling, most of the games are going to be in the afternoon. Game 1 at 5:10 will be game 1 of the doubleheader between the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Marcus Stroman will take the mound for the New York Mets, and Kyle Muller will take the mound for the Atlanta Braves. Marcus Stroman enters this matchup with a 7-8 record alongside a 2.59 ERA, and Kyle Muller enters this matchup with a 1-3 record alongside a 3.20 ERA. Doubleheader game 2 of this matchup will be at 8:10, as the Mets have not decided their starting pitcher yet, but Bryce Wilson will take the mound for the Atlanta Braves. At 7 o'clock on primetime on ESPN, Nick Pivetta and the Boston Red Sox are going to host Thomas Hatch and the Toronto Blue Jays. At 7:05, Spencer Howard and the Philadelphia Phillies are going to host Joe Ross and the Washington Nationals. At 8:05, Kyle Hendricks and the Chicago Cubs are going to host Wade Miley and the Cincinnati Reds. Kyle Hendricks comes into this matchup with a 12-4 record alongside a 3.61 ERA. Wade Miley enters this matchup with an 8-4 record along a 2.72 ERA. At 8:10 on ESPN Plus, Mike Minor and the Kansas City Royals are going to host Dallas Keuchel and the Chicago White Sox. At the same time, Michael Pineda and the Minnesota Twins are going to host Matt Manning and the Detroit Tigers. Michael Pineda comes into this matchup with a 4-5 record and a 3.93 ERA. At 9:38, Shohei Ohtani, the all-star starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels, is going to host German Marquez and the Colorado Rockies. Shohei Ohtani comes into this matchup with a 4-1 record alongside a 3.21 ERA. German Marquez comes into this matchup with an 8-7 record alongside a 3.50 ERA. And then at 10:10, Darren McCaffin is going to lead the Seattle Mariners against Luis Garcia and the Houston Astros. McCaffin comes into this matchup without registering a win or a loss, but he has a 1.80 ERA. Luis Garcia comes into this matchup with a 2-5 record alongside a 2.86 ERA. That is what the MLB is looking like as we enter today. Taking a look at what's going on in the world of soccer, as the 2 matchups to wrap up the quarterfinal of the CONCACAF Gold Cup have finished. In the first matchup, Canada was able to beat Costa Rica 2-0 as their first goal come from Hoylett in the first half, and then Eustachio in the second to give Canada the opportunity to face off against Mexico in the semifinal matchup. And in the other matchup, the United States was able to beat Jamaica 1-0 as their striker Matthew Hopp would finish with an 83rd minute goal. And now they will advance to face off against Qatar and these on the 29th. Is looking forward to what's going on in that round, going on to the next round of Gold Cup. The next round, the semifinal matches will be played on Thursday, July 29th, as Qatar is going to face off against the United States at 7:30, and Mexico is going to face off against Canada at 10 o'clock. So that's a lot to be looking forward to. And quickly looking at what's been going on in the Olympics, what's been going on in day 2, and this because with Japan's time zone, they have already started their day 3 matchups, but I'm just going to go through what happened yesterday. In women's team archery, South Korea was able to take the gold over Russian Olympic Committee in Germany. In the women's road race for cycling, Anna Kiesenhofer from Austria was able to take home the gold in that race. In diving, women's synchronized 3-meter springboard, China would take the gold over second place Canada and third place Germany. In fencing, men's individual épée, gold medal will go to Romain Canon from France. Women's individual foil, the gold medal will go to Lee Kiefer of the United States, the first woman of the United States to win a gold medal in that event. In judo for men 66 kilograms, Hifumi Abe from Japan would win the gold medal, and then his sister Uta Abe would win judo for women's 52 kilogram. This brother and sister combo from Japan, I imagine it's probably the first time it's probably not the first time it's ever happened, but it's a very momentous occasion, especially for the hometown judo fighters. In shooting, men's 10-meter air rifle, Will Shaner from the United States would take gold. For women's 10-meter pistol, Vitalina Batsarashkina from the Russian Olympic Committee would take the gold in that. Sorry if I butchered the name. In men's street skateboarding, the gold will go to Yuto Horigome from Japan, as the first skateboarding gold medal will go to him. Though I feel like this is going to be where skateboarding in Japan is going to most definitely take off if it hasn't so by now. In the men's 400-meter freestyle, the gold medal went to Ahmed Hafnoui from Tunisia, the 18-year-old. In the men's 400-meter individual medley, the gold went to Chase Calitz of the United States. For the women's 400-meter individual medley, the gold medal went to Yui Ohashi from Japan. For the women's 400-meter freestyle relay, the win and the gold medal and the world record would end up going to the Australian women's team. In Taekwondo and men's 68 kilogram, the gold medal went to Ulugbek Rashitov from Uzbekistan. And the women's 57 kilogram, it went to Anastasia Zolotic of the United States. In weightlifting, the gold medal for 61 kilogram went to Fabin Li of China. In men's 67 kilogram, the win went to Lijun Chen of China as well. As that would wrap up the medals for what's been going on in the Olympics to conclude what's been going on for today. Once again, today is Monday, July 26, 2021 out here in this quarantine. I want to thank ESPN, MLB, and the Olympic websites as well as Bleacher Report for giving me the facts and figures that I needed to complete this episode today. I want to thank everyone for listening to all 34 minutes of this episode. And once today's elite matchups and events are done, I will come back tomorrow for another installment on Tuesday, July 27, 2021. And until then, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and I will catch you with another episode of The Elite tomorrow once all of today's matchups are over. And until then, like I said, peace out, and I'll catch you with another episode again, and I'll catch you tomorrow.